Hey, y'all, it's Mandy. Before we dive into this week's episode, I just want to take a moment and thank my patrons and premium subscribers who have been here partnering with me to create this work. I love doing this with a team. So if you are interested in being someone who creates this resourcing for people who live in care deserts or who just don't have a safe community to discuss grief, check out the show notes to become a patron of the show. You'll get access to monthly bonus episodes as well as our live chat over on Discord. And I would love to hear from you. Okay, that's all I had to say. Now let's get into this week's episode. Welcome back to Restorative Grief with Mandy Capehart. You are listening to episode 86, titled 4 Ways to Navigate Sucky Holidays. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This week, I wanted to revisit a social media post that I shared a few weeks ago about 4 ways to navigate sucky holidays. We all know that holidays activate new fears and seem to level up our anxieties. Thank you so much, grief. What a gift. So I thought perhaps a conversation about supporting ourselves through those times would be just the ticket, especially since it kind of feels like we have a holiday to confront every month. So originally, I wrote this post just in time for Mother's Day. If you're new around here, you may not know that I lost my mom in 2016. I had just given birth after years of infertility and miscarriages, and my own daughter was just a little over a year old when my mom was diagnosed with cancer. Within 4 months and 2 chemo treatments, she was unable to overcome the impact of treatment on her body, and we lost her. So, suffice it to say, I kind of hate Mother's Day. We could get into all the capitalistic reasons behind that as well, but for now, we're just going to let membership in the Dead Mom Club be more than enough. What's interesting is that as a mom, especially after infertility struggles, a lot of people can't understand why I would disrespect a holiday meant to honor and celebrate me. And again, without getting into all the capitalistic nature of this holiday and complete lack of maternal support and care in our country, I'm just going to say that this holiday isn't designed to celebrate me. It's designed to celebrate a role that I fulfill in my family. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love when my family recognizes the value and my contributions and my simple existence in our house and family dynamic. I know I make an impact, and I know every single person who shows up in their family and contributes is worthy of celebration and is even worthy of celebration when all they contribute is their presence. But because of my complicated relationship to the idea of motherhood, the good often takes a backseat. I freak out a little bit each year, and some years are easier than others. However, after so many years now of being a motherless daughter, as they say, I wanted to give you a little insight about how I navigate this holiday and others when the grief gets heavy and wants center stage. Now, if you're new here, you may be a little surprised to hear the 4 things I've included on this list of ways to navigate sucky holidays. I promise it's intentional, and there's even research backing everything up here. Scientific research, I might add. My first piece of advice on how to navigate a sucky holiday is to make more personal choices. Making a personal choice may seem like a small thing, but what is small might be very important to you. Maybe making choices and having your voice heard isn't one of those things you get to do very often. Maybe it's not your opinion that gets to settle the discussions. Personal choices mean doing what you want and not just what someone else wants you to do. Around the holidays, this is often the last thing on our minds. We generally tend to show up on behalf of other people to create the holiday magic we want them to experience and that we want them to know they deserve. Personally, I go out of my way to make every holiday as special as I can for my child. I love the magic of it. I love being able to contribute incredible childhood memories that activate magic in her. But that's a personal choice for me. It's something that I love and look forward to year round. I've been known to plan a St. Patrick's Day basket and brunch celebration nearly a year in advance. And that's my personal choice, which gives me autonomy and freedom to be whatever and whoever I need to be in that moment. And that's really important. Essentially, you're giving your consent to be included and to participate. And we don't give ourselves enough opportunity to express our consent or to decline. My second piece of advice is to do something unexpected, like blowing off the traditional plans or just leaving town to get some space. I highly recommend deciding just to ask for cash when someone wants to give you a gift and putting it toward a hotel room that only you are allowed to visit. This might be unique to moms in some degree, but I really feel that this is a universally underappreciated experience. Doing something out of the ordinary that you aren't expected to do around the holidays is a gift to yourself. Now, you might be thinking, Mandy, it's the holidays. Let someone else give you the gift. And I agree. Let everyone who says they love you give you the gift of autonomy and release from their expectations. When we are grieving, we often do everything we can to protect the boat. Do you remember those old Looney Tunes where the pirate ship would be sinking and Bugs Bunny would like stretch himself all the way out just to plug each hole in the boat as it started to leak? Yeah, that's us. We will sacrifice every finger we have to plug the holes as they pop up so that nothing goes under. Put this metaphor of a sinking ship in the context of a holiday weekend, and we grievers will do what we can to minimize ourselves and end up stretched completely thin, contorting to fit the shape everyone else needs us to fit, and typically completely drained by the end of the celebrations instead of feeling rested, restored, and connected to ourselves or one another. So, even if it's as simple as leaving when they need you to start cooking the turkey and telling someone else to figure it out, you can trust your people to understand how to hit that Google and make it happen because you know how. And while you are undoubtedly remarkable and a superhuman, this is a chance to put that superhumanness toward yourself. My third piece of advice is to smile at yourself. Now, this is not me saying you should smile more because you'll feel better. This is me saying go find a mirror and sit in front of it and give yourself a smile. Really take in the light and the sparkle that comes out of your face when you are genuinely smiling. If you're struggling to stir up a genuine smile, maybe think of somebody that you would offer a genuine smile to. Maybe that's your child or your partner. Maybe it's a cute little baby in the stroller at the park or a puppy in the stroller at the park. Maybe it's just a cronut from an exclusive bakery. Ooh, or a plane ticket in the mail from your best friend. What is it that would earn your genuine, joyful smile? Bring that to mind and then offer it to yourself. Because while you may be a work in progress, a broken-hearted human learning to navigate grief and life and holding space for yourself, you are still a gorgeous and beautiful individual worthy of a beautiful smile. Plus, smiling releases tons of happy endorphins, and you deserve those in large quantities. Now, that's a great gift for the holidays. See, we can feel really isolated when we're grieving because people around us might be unintentionally walking on eggshells. For the most part, they want to be empathetic and avoid minimizing our pain because they've been listening to the show and now they're super insightful about how to be considerate of a griever's needs. That might mean, however, that they avoid appearing too joyful or happy or smiling from ear to ear in our presence. This can come from just a lack of attunement as well, where they aren't quite sure what we are experiencing internally and not quite comfortable to ask. So they get a little weird, and I get it. We all get a little weird when we don't know how to act, when things are awkward and grievy, and that's the whole point. Smiling at yourself is the piece of advice that might be a good opportunity for journaling. And I know a lot of you hate journaling, but I would love to tell you to just get over it and give it a try. Even if you're bristling at me right now, journaling is your body moving in agreement with your thoughts and your emotional state. Your hand is making an action on behalf of what your brain and your emotional self are telling it to express. It brings you a sense of connection to yourself in your spirit because you're acknowledging and bearing witness to the things you are carrying internally, made manifest and put on paper. I know that journaling means things are really real, and that can be scary. And I know when you're not sure what to write, it's because you're feeling disconnected from yourself in the first place and maybe afraid of what could come out of you. So consider this inadvertent piece of advice about journaling, advice number 3.B, that you carve out some space during your next sucky holiday and bravely put a few expressions down on paper, especially if you try it before and then after this smiling at yourself exercise. You might be surprised at how differently the smiling can make you feel. And if you're still with me, my final piece of advice, which may feel a little ironic after that journaling bit, I want you to recognize that it is okay to disappoint someone and maybe even therapeutic to do it intentionally. There's a very good chance, for example, that the advice I offered here, pieces one, two, or three, are going to disappoint someone. See, maybe you're the person that your family relies on for the holiday magic. Maybe you have parents who expect you to fall in line with their family traditions, and it's just too painful to push back right now. Or maybe you're grieving because your lifestyle no longer aligns with your family traditions, and they just can't understand how to love you and fold you in with intention just as you are. I think a lot of the grief we experience, especially around holidays, is disenfranchised. It's not related to a death, but it can be connected to the loss of a relationship, expectations being broken, the idea of being included being broken, our actual verbal, emotional, and mental abuse or neglect from the people you expected to be safe with for life. Maybe you're processing a lot in your physical body because your neurological self has carved so many pathways to protect you that it's overwhelmed, and now all of that is showing up in your body. For whatever reason, which, side note, is probably caveman biological nervous system survival reasons, our family of origin has a lot of influence over how we react to holidays and respond to the pressure from both directions to conform and create peace. Patrons of the show know that about a month ago, I talked about creating your own internal sunshine. That can be really hard when you are simultaneously navigating traumatic experiences, consciously or subconsciously. So, while it may seem that this entire list of advice is a little bit flippant, I want you to understand that someone will be disappointed in you every day. It's inevitable, and it's okay. It's kind of irrational to believe that they wouldn't be. We're disappointed because we have expectations on people or fluid boundaries with them that just haven't been well communicated or supported. And so I just want to make sure that this time you are not the one who is disappointed over and over again. If you have the chance to expand into the person and the life that you want, then my question is, what are you waiting for? I don't need a list of reasons from you. This is a rhetorical question. This could even be a journal prompt if you're feeling adventurous. As you grieve and figure out what daily life looks like now, why not also give yourself the freedom to figure out what a hopeful and positive holiday celebration might look for you as well? I'm going to take us back to Mother's Day for a moment. There have been years that my family has gone above and beyond with beautiful letters and gifts and intentions. And there have been years when I've asked them to leave me completely alone. One year, I couldn't get out of bed and cried without eating all day, binge watching cop dramas and comedies and pretending the world just didn't exist. But one year, I was incredibly intentional about my own nourishment and made sure that everything I ate was brightly colored, minimally processed, and full of nutrition. I moved my body, I drank a ton of water, and by the end of it, I felt so embodied and powerful and whole. And I'm not going to tell you which order those Mother's Day celebrations happened in. What matters is that I had space to disappoint someone in that time, even if it's my beautiful child who just wants to celebrate their mom in the way that culture has told them they should, with chocolates and flowers. This is my opportunity to teach people how to treat me. And that includes letting them know how I feel seen and celebrated. For me, that's autonomy. That's flexibility to pivot and become who I need the most that day, or even in the moment. That is the best gift I could ever ask for. Thank you for listening to episode 86 of Restorative Grief. Sometimes a list of the things we can check off is great, but honestly, we just need a reminder sometimes that the best plan for healing is person centered, and that person is us. It can be a lot of work creating new expectations, boundaries, and space for ourselves when we're already grieving. But honestly, what would it mean for you to start taking up space in your own grief story? I think that's a question worth answering. If this is your first time listening, thanks for making space for this. It's a great start, allowing yourself the time and intention of listening to a new podcast that just might help you find a pathway forward. So please be sure to leave a review wherever you listen and subscribe so that you won't miss next week's interview with Jan Owen, a brilliant trauma therapist sharing her own story about working as a grief professional and pursuing grief work in her own right at the same time. Thank you as always to each of my patrons and premium subscribers. There are so many of you these days, and I am just beyond grateful. Truly, it really makes the work happen, and this work makes a difference. So I'm grateful you're here. If you're interested in learning more about becoming a patron or a premium subscriber, check the show notes or go visit mandykapehart.com. And before we go, as always, one last thing. Please remember, the only solution for grief is to do the work of grieving. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week.